Kingly Procession, February 8th, from a devotional entitled God's Amazing Grace by Ellen G. White. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy King cometh unto thee. He is just, and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. Zechariah 9:9. 500 years before the birth of Christ, the prophet Zechariah thus foretold the coming of the King to Israel. Christ was following the Jewish custom for a royal entry. No sooner was he seated upon the colt than a loud shout of triumph rent the air. The multitude hailed him as Messiah, their King. They could lead the triumphal procession with no royal standards, but they cut down the spreading palm boughs, nature's emblem of victory, and waved them aloft with loud acclamations and hosannas. Never before in this earthly life had Christ permitted such a demonstration. He clearly foresaw the result. It would bring him to the cross. But it was his purpose thus publicly to present himself as the Redeemer. He desired to call attention to the sacrifice that was to crown his mission. Never before had the world seen such a triumphal procession. It was not like that of the earth's famous conquerors. No train of mourning, captives as trophies of kingly valor, made a feature of that scene, but about the Savior were the glorious trophies of his labor of love for sinful man. There were the captives whom he had rescued from Satan's power, praising God for their deliverance. The blind whom he had restored to sight were leading the way. The dumb whose tongues he had loosed shouted the loudest hosannas. The cripples whom he had healed bounded with joy. Lazarus, whose body had seen corruption in the grave, but who now rejoiced in the strength of glorious manhood, led the beast on which the Savior rode. That scene of triumph was of God's own appointing. It had been foretold by the prophet, and man was powerless to turn aside God's purpose. As well might the priests and rulers attempt to deprive the earth of the shining face of the sun, as to shut from the world the beams of glory from the Sun of Righteousness. In spite of all opposition, the kingdom of Christ was confessed by the people.